Hi, this is Chef Pete with Culinaria Cooking School. Today we're here with Chef Farm and Fork, and we're going to break down a chicken. So this is a much more economical way to buy chicken. You should be able to get several meals out of one chicken, at least for two people. And there's many different things, and a little later on we'll talk about the little different things that you can do. We purchased the chicken from Whiffletree Farms, and it's just gorgeous. 2.7 pounds, about just the most perfect size. Should taste real nice and sweet. Smaller chickens have a much better taste. So we're gonna take this out of the package here, and then we'll do a little cleanup. All right, so we're gonna start breaking down our chicken here. There's a number of ways you can do this. I usually start with the wings, and then go to the legs and thighs, and then finish off with the breasts. So when you start with the chicken, the first thing I do is the wing tips. I look to see where the joint is. When you find that joint, your knife will go through really easy. If you don't find it and it's difficult, then you need to move your knife slightly to one side or the other. So let's see if I can get lucky here. Yeah, right there. So we got through like butter or the sweet spot. And if I go in the wrong spot, it's difficult. You can see that it's not going through easy. So realign my knife, and there we go. There's our wingtips. So now we go down to my favorite part of the chicken, right here, and we can see where the drumette meets this other joint here. And again, I look to see where the joint is and put my knife where I think that it will be. And if it's a little bit difficult, then you just need to literally move your knife over slightly to the left or to the right. There it was, slightly to the left. So we'll flip this around and do the same thing on this side. And there's our nice sweet spot. So I'll come back to these guys after we get our legs and thighs cut off. So I'm gonna open this up so I can get to my legs and thighs here. And by the way, we are using a boning knife, which is made specifically for deboning and breaking down cuts of meat. So I'm going to start by cutting this piece of skin here, and I'm not really cutting any meat at all. And you can see this is almost ready to come off. If I flip this up over, there's a little piece right here that's called the oyster, and it's kind of a cup shape like so. So I'm going to bring my knife back around to where that oyster is, and it's kind of a curvature part. And if I look right here, there's a bone that runs up this way. So this is where I want to cut my thigh, and to trim off our thigh. And there's our thigh. So we'll do our other side. Again, I'm just going to pull this back a little bit, get that skin loose, and pull this down a little bit. And again, there's our can't think of the name of it, oyster. And again, just pull this back so you can see that the bone has been dislocated. So we're just going to run our knife straight up through our there, and there's our thigh and leg. All right, so we got our breast. We have a bone that runs right here, and this is where our wishbone is. You can also cut this out, but I usually just trim right around it. So I pull the skin taut a little bit and slice down, and the knife will automatically or easily fall to one side of this bone or the other. So I can feel here I'm on that side of the bone. So I'll just take the tip of my knife and work down towards where our rib cage is. And you can see this chicken's still a little on the frozen side, but not frozen. So it's real easy to do your trimmings when it's slightly frozen. So there's our rib right here, and there's a line of fat that runs right up through here, so we can just take our knife, come right out. You can see that line of fat comes straight up, and same for the back side. Except I should have trimmed off my other wing first. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pull this back here. There we go. And this is our tenderloin, just so you know. And you can just pull that straight out, like so. Tenderloin, the breast. I'll go ahead and get our other drumette off, and you can just pull this back to dislocate it. Slice right up through there. There is our other drumette, or part of the wing. And I'll go ahead and do this one first, which I should have done before. So I just, where the chicken comes together here, I just run my knife down around through it, and then just pull back slightly to expose that joint, and then trim around that joint. There it is. There we go. And then our breast on this side, again, here's that bone. And just take my knife and run very close to that bone, because I'm trying to get as much of the meat as possible. And again, slice this down to the rib cage. And then just take the tip of my knife and work around where the rib cage is. And again, here's our line of fat. So we can take our knife and just go right straight through there and straight back. And there we have breast with the tenderloin and the skin on. And that's something you can't buy in the store, is breast with the skin on, which is really nice. Boneless breast with the skin on. And then I save this for stock. And there is a little bit of meat here, but that'll make the stock nice and rich. So that's our chicken breakdown. And it's the most economical way to buy a chicken. So this is the way you want to do this. Now, if we want to break this down a little bit further, we have our thigh, which is right here, and our leg. And we can see the joint is right about here. And there's a couple of lines of fat right there that you can use as a guide. And if you don't get, see, I didn't get that nice piece there to go through. But now we've got our thigh and our leg. And again, I'll look through and see where that is. There's a line of fat. There's our joint. We'll run through, straight through, and it goes through like butter. So thanks, special thanks to Chef Farm and Fork for inviting us here. Again, my name is Pete from Culinaria Cooking School in Vienna. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Take care.
And can you talk about the difference between straightening a blade and sharpening a blade? Because I think there's a little bit of confusion about that. It's common.
Typically, straightening the edge is done with a steel, which comes in a lot of the knife blocks. It's a round rod, typically with lines on it. And what that does is it realigns the edge of the knife. Sometimes when you check your knife to see how sharp it is, it'll be really sharp on one side, but not so sharp on the other. So that means the edge needs to be realigned. And you basically run through your steel either this way, any method, outie method, or straight up and down, and that realigns the edge. If you want to sharpen it, then you're going to need either a stone or some type of a sharpening device, and that will re-sharpen your knife. But always make sure your knives are nice and sharp, and you will cut yourself a lot less.